Hello. Right when we come on, the helicopter has to come over.
Ba-boom. Hello,
How
Friday.
it goes? Hi, Queen. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Pink Dahlia. Hi, ATS Nose. Jax. Hi.
Hello. It's blanket.
Amelia. Vibing to the intro. I know. Michelle and I are like,
It's going still.
That's all Christine, dude. She's badass.
Hey, Jeanette. Here's the pink dahlia.
Queen.
Amber.
Queen.
Hi, Jax.
So Christine couldn't join us tonight. She's feeling a little under the weather, so we are wishing her a speedy recovery.
We gotta make sure our girl's good. Hey,
Charlie.
Hello.
Hey. So I know it's been like a hot minute since we've been live.
A little bit.
It's been kind of crazy. SoCal Mega Pint Lover.
I love that.
Tia, hi.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. Let me just tell you, it's just been crazy. So
it's been busy.
We've had just my household. So this doesn't even go with what like you've been doing and what like Christine's been doing. Just my household. So 3 weeks ago we had Kaylee had state national competitions. We all got sick, so that was a bummer. Then we come back and Kaylee goes to her pre-nationals practice and injures her ankle on Friday. So I get to spend my evening. Hi, Haley. I get to spend my evening in the urgent care trying to figure out if her ankle's so messed up that she's not going to be able to go to nationals. Then we're back and forth over and over and over again about whether we're going to go, whether we're going to cancel, we're going to go, we're going to cancel, we're going to go, we're going to cancel. It was a little emotional. We ended up going. It was awesome. She did good. She tried really hard. So, Tia, that's because you do amazing research. So like, don't even start with me on my research. Dude, your research is like top notch. You and LFT. I love it. I love it. I had not subscribed to the channel until like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I'm like, I love it. The last couple of lives, the last couple of videos, I'm like, this is awesome. Hi, Maria.
Hi. Is that Tia's channel?
That's Tia. That's Decipher Podcast.
Oh wait, I can only see it so small. Oh, okay.
Can one of the wrenches grab Tia and LFT's link for Decipher Podcast and drop it?
Yes, please.
And don't forget ATS News. You know she needs some love.
See, I'll definitely stop by. Wow, I didn't even realize that.
So what was it? Oh, so we go to nationals. She does well. Hi, Jeanette. She does well. She struggled a little bit right in the warm-ups. That she does a round off and lands on that ankle, and it was immediate. Like
she felt that initial.
There was some tears, and then so she cries, and then I cry because then I'm like, did I make the wrong decision? Like, am I a terrible mom? Should I have not let her come? Hi, RJ.
No.
And so it was a mess. It was a mess. The first 2 parts were just kind of a mess, but she did a good job. And then she ended up medaling on bars.
Boom.
So it was everybody, all 22 girls that went with this team to nationals, all got a medal in something.
And that says a lot for her to go, knowing she's hurt. She cannot perform to her top-notch ability like she's used to doing. She's at the biggest of the big, when it comes to this. So, and I still think she did great. It takes more heart to get up there to do that than anything. So, I give her.
Yeah, Pink Dahlia, she's a gymnast. And she's very good at it, and so this was like hard on her to not be like, because she normally gets medals in almost everything and gets an overall medal, So this was like there was a lot of emotion.
Well, she worked so hard up to this, This is that moment, and but that's why I say it takes a little bit more heart to even. If she didn't cry, something would probably be wrong. That's where.
But then I think I kind of screwed up because then I cried, and then she's like worried because she could see me, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going outside. I can't do this. So like in between like the routines, like I'm like leaving so that I can like go outside and cry in peace because I'm like poor baby. So she didn't know, but she's a rock star. She's a little rock star, and so like even the coaches afterward were like, how many girls? Because she's 11. She's not old, so she's got many years of nationals ahead of her, and they're like. Girls normally would quit, and you ended up medaling in your last event of the day, which means you only got stronger.
Right. Like that's when you said that, I couldn't believe that it took her all the way. And then when you think about what she did, it was probably the most on her actual injury when you think about it, because the way she has to land doing that. So it was like she went like all or nothing for that last one. I feel like she really did.
She did, but she didn't quit, and that was my big thing. But afterwards, she was just like, "I'm done." So then, so the trip was definitely worth it. It was awesome. It was actually in Toledo, Ohio, which I'm from the Midwest, but I'd never actually been to Toledo. So it was interesting to kind of see some of the things there, and we went up to like this. Like a national park. I can't even remember what it's called. It starts with like an M, but it was. I should show you guys some of the pictures. I'll post them because it was absolutely gorgeous. And we happened to go at like sunset, which, FYI, nobody told me that sunset in Ohio isn't until like 10 p.m.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, why is it still so light outside? This is so weird.
Around.
So anyway, so that's kind of my whole life has been kind of just all over the place, and so I'm really happy to be back. Michelle is amazing and always does a great job keeping like the group updated, and I've got to figure out the access to the community wall because she'd be so much better at it than me with all of her information. Because you know me, I'm like 2 words and then here it is, and then Michelle's like, here's all the details you actually need to know. Hi CDT. Like, can I go to bed already? I know I was kind of like, why is it like it's still daylight? Like we're outside and it's just like how it is here right now. And I'm like, this is weird. Sunset in Oregon isn't till then as well, which is weird because that's West Coast. I don't know. It was definitely interesting. It was a fun trip. I'm glad I'm back. And then I had to catch up on regular life because our flight got delayed. I missed a bunch of schoolwork on Monday because we ended up traveling. It was just but we're home and we're back in routine and we're super happy about it. I'm from Michigan, and the sunset in Michigan's were late as well. I missed that. I wasn't used to it because I'm from Illinois. I was born in Illinois, but I don't remember our sun setting. I was little, but I don't remember our sun setting at 10 o'clock. Maybe it has to do with the more northern part. I don't know.
We're around like 8, around 8:30.
Right. So in this last week of being gone, there's been so much happening in the true crime community and so many things and updates on cases and such. And I'm super excited to say that next week we're gonna have a special guest that comes on and is able to kind of give us some of her perspectives on all these cases and share her lovely knowledge and her heart of gold. And I won't to say her name quite yet. I'll let you guys sit on that for a minute. But I'm very excited that she's going to be joining us next week, and she's just a doll. So let's see. And Michelle, like I said, does amazing. Christine, always rocking it. I'm sad that she's under the weather because, like I said, we haven't done this for a little while. So
kind of miss each other.
Let's see. I'm glad you're speaking on this case because I have no valid information from the conspiracies being spoke on different channels that PI is really damaging this case. He was served a C&D, but okay. So the PI situation is actually very interesting to me because I can kind of see both sides of that. Yeah. And I'm going to be legit. Like, obviously I've been very busy, so I haven't caught up on the whole thing, which is Michelle is on top of. So we're going to get her perspective on it. But, hi Kez Chick. I see both sides of this PI situation. I always wonder how much putting out on social media is good and is bad. It's good for the part that we're all very interested, and if the information is given to us and we know it's factual, then we can all kind of be on the same page and we're not making up, all the conspiracies that go along with it. And when they don't give us the information, then our imaginations run wild, and then you have all kinds of stuff. So I see it both ways.
That's going to kind of be how I try to deliver Dylan's story today. It'll be more or less, it's going to be a combination of PI Jim, because I followed him extremely close, but along with Candace on Sleuth Mom as well. So I tried to get both perspectives, put it together, get as much truth out of that I could. And then there are going to be some rumors in there. There's probably going to be, there is some speculation in there. I do have a couple stories and some characters just to introduce it first to, make Dylan's story and what had happened to him make a little bit more sense as we go over the timeline. But But that's kind of been the biggest problem in this case. And I've been torn myself, you know, between Jim the P.I, because I do feel like he does great work. His tone is a little off, but his work is pretty good. And then I also feel for Candace, but I also understand that now, knowing their relationship and things, and I'm a mom, we're moms, we know we don't always know everything, especially when they're around that age. And he's in a different part of, you know, like a whole other state. He's on a farm by himself for 3 years. He's very young. Like, there's a lot to. So you're going to probably see a little bit of both in there, but I kind of took Jim, Candace, Sleuth Mom, and a few other creators that covered it, and I put it all together, and we'll go over it that way.
I love it. And I love your tank top.
Thanks. I like yours
too. That cut. You're so funny. Well, so High Truth and Transparency, Fancy Drew, Sharon McAndrews. Did I miss anybody else popping in? I missed you. Hi to you to CBK. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Hi, Roxanne.
Hi, Roxanne.
She's probably like, don't do that. Everybody does that, and don't do that. Like, just don't do that. I know that's how I would feel. Like when your name is like a song, and then people just would constantly sing it. I would be like, all right, that's enough.
Roxanne. Yes, we are allowed to talk about tank tops.
We could totally talk about tank tops. I basically love tank tops.
We live in tank tops in jerseys. Okay, well, Dylan, he is a local, originally from Idaho Falls. He's 19 years old. He was born August 2002. I'm sorry. To his dad, Justin, his mom, Candace. Dylan dropped out of high school. Right kind of after that is when grandparents bought Dylan his farm. He's very young. He's about 16 years old. He has tons of farming experience. He had spent many summers out in Lucin to begin with. So I feel like he's had. I know a lot of people are concerned about him being so young, running his own farm and being out there by himself. But I feel like this is kind of something that was in his blood.
Did you ever watch Gold Rush, the show Gold Rush? I don't know if anybody in chat if you guys watched Gold Rush, there was a young guy, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but somebody in chat might know. And he always worked with his grandpa, you know, digging for gold, always his whole life. And so he did. So his grandpa passed away, and he gave the land that he would, you know, do all of his gold digging on. He gave it to his grandson. This is what that story kind of reminds me of, is like this young kid is now out there trying to be the boss of these older men who've done it for years, yet he's done it his whole life, and he's very good at it.
Yes. He loved to fish too.
Parker. Queen bee to you. Thank you. Yes, his name is Parker. How did I forget that? Yeah. Parker. So he did, but he did a good job, but he had a lot of hardship. Hi, Lorton girl. He had a lot of hardships because of his age. Yeah. Do we know how big this farm is by chance?
Well,
she's sick, Truth and Transparency. She's under the weather.
Not feeling too good today. I believe it surpasses way beyond 650 acres, but I know the rest of the land surrounding it is owned by BLM. I want to say that his grandfather, I know, went and looked, and they had searched 3 other farms prior to this farm. They came along this farm. They said it was super cheap, and they felt like it was something good for Dylan to do while he wasn't in school. Now,
it creates a fantastic work ethic.
No doubt. No doubt. You could see him in some of the pictures. He's very young, and he's operating machinery, and he's completely involved. Like even the ones with his grandfather, you can see they're very, very close, especially in doing that. Dylan, he's way beyond his years. Like there's not one person that has not, known Dylan that to not say that. He's also known for carrying his .40 caliber gun. I'm gonna try and introduce this human hunting group, militia group, vigilante group. It's a group of men, and I'll introduce their names in a minute, who own land right by Dylan. They do farming. They even work with Dylan from time to time, and they decided to form their own group to protect each other's land. Apparently, there's a lot of tweakers out there. There's a lot of theft and whatnot. So Dylan had happened to join this group and became very, very close to these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a little bit of these characters, I'll call them.
Okay. Hey, MJ.
Okay.
Somebody else popped in, but I missed it. D. Holla!
Okay. So we have Chase. Now, Jim the P.I. has spoken with Chase and his family. Chase had said that Kurt beat him up on the night that Dylan had went missing. So I'm sure you guys have heard the story that Chase had ran out into the middle of the road, wanted to use Dylan's cell phone, and supposedly wanted a ride. He was bloody with no shoes. That apparently was just a story that he had told his mother half of the story. He told his mother that he had seen Chase, ran into Chase, and that he was just a creepy guy. He asked for all these things, and Dylan didn't. Here to come to find out, he did. So Chase and Kurt have a very rocky relationship. They're kind of known to hate each other.
Do we know how old Kurt is? I don't want to like dox him or anything with anything, but I just wanted like, do we know his age? Like, is he about the same age?
In his 60s.
Oh yeah, he's the older guy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, most of the guys are. They're in their early 60s. So Chase's parents also had made the claim to Jim the P.I. that Dylan was gay. I know this is kind of like a touchy subject for Candace. You know, I don't think Candace believes her son was gay, but a lot of the findings that P.I. Jim and a lot of these people that have been speaking up apparently say that he was. He didn't date a lot. Is
this confirmed by any of his family or his actual friends?
No, these are all basically everybody from Lucin and anybody he's made friends with in Montello say that. Now, Candace did say he did not date in high school. She does not ever remember him dating at all. But, you know, that could be teenage, you know, everybody gets a little funny in high school. So,
yeah.
So, let me go back. Chase also has a son. He's 17 years old. He also, says Dylan, I'm sorry, it's Chase's son, and then Chase's parents all speak to Jim the P.I.
Chase's son and Chase's parents all speak to Jim the P.I. Still, yes. Even after he was told to back off.
To be honest, after that point, I'm not sure.
Okay.
This was maybe about a week ago. But he had spoke to the entire family. Basically, spoke to Jim, and they all kind of confirmed that they felt Dylan was gay. And the reason why they had thought that was because Chase knows Kurt very well. They go back, way back. And multiple people apparently have ran into Kurt, walked in on Kurt in either drag, wearing red lipstick. You know, they kind of labeled it Bruce Jennering it up.
Okay, so I have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could care less if the kid's gay, really. I mean, unless... Are people starting to actually speculate that this is a hate crime?
No, not that I've gotten.
Okay. To me, then I don't know if I don't know. I guess I don't know the relevance of it unless people are really starting to speculate that it's a hate crime and that somebody there was pissed that he was gay.
Well, the reason why I think Jim thinks or they're putting it together this way is because the group of guys, this militia human hunting group, they're all known for doing very strange, odd things. They all have lengthy, horrible criminal records. And they're also known for hiding out in their campers together at night, making pizzas, sleepovers. You kind of know where I'm going with that. They're almost like a group that are bisexual type. Okay. So Dylan had a hard time sleeping at night at the farm. So he would stay at Kurt's house, at Kurt's camper, I'm sorry. and they would stay up. They would make pizzas. They were very close. They were just very, very close. Oh, really? I saw.
I did not see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, he's right.
Good old Reverend Donna.
Yeah. So, where was I? Okay, I'm gonna go into Kurt just a little bit because I keep mentioning him, and we don't.
Yes, please do.
On him. Kurt had the closest relationship to Dylan. He knows the most probably about Dylan since being out at that farm. They worked together. Like I said, he would stay at his camper, sleep at night. They would make pizzas.
And how far was Kurt's camper from Dylan? Do we know that?
I don't have that. I have it on the footage, on the drone footage. But
okay, perfect. Barb, I'll get her for you in just a minute. She's over there sleeping.
She wants Eartha.
She does. You know, I can't pick her up anymore. So, okay, so it's on the drone footage, so we'll be able to see the distance. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I personally think he was, because he was so lonely out there, he connected with Kurt originally. And that's where maybe Kurt introduced him to this group of guys. But I think they more or less kept the friendship. I know a lot tried to push that he had a relationship with Kurt. And one of the original thoughts were that Kurt possibly could have killed him because they ended a relationship. Okay. But here to come to find out, none of that was to be. But Dylan.
Okay, so that's where the whole story goes into why it matters, his sexuality, because of the alliances with these people and who he could have not have been in a relationship with. Okay, I can see that.
What I think happened was when Jim started to hear these things, he kind of went right where we did. You know, like, is this a hate crime type of thing? Like, where are we going with this? So he kept kind of digging there, and then more and more things started, to come up, and there's a lot of focus on the Wadsworths, Kurt being one of them.
Yes. So, okay.
Kurt has two other brothers. Well, Kurt is from a huge family, but his brother Scott and his brother Troy play a role in this. Troy, in my personal opinion, I feel if Dylan was, and if anything on the hate crime end was happening to Dylan, I believe it happened through Troy.
You believe it happened? What? I missed that last part. What?
That if anyone did hurt Dylan originally because they feel like now that they had help, whoever this person was, in my personal opinion, I think it would be Troy.
Troy.
Why? Yes.
Okay.
Troy, like I said, Kurt more or less had the friendship with Dylan, but Troy.
Hi, Crafton and Kim.
Hello. They were known to be very close, these two, like very, very close. Troy also, the same night, had scratches on his arm that Dylan's dad was able to confirm, and he saw. Law enforcement checked them out. They said those scratches had nothing to do with Dylan. I kind of agree with Jim. I think it has everything to do with Dylan.
Okay, so what night does Dad see that? Because I think that's going to be important when we go through the timeline. Do you happen to have that?
I have that on the timeline. Yeah.
Okay, when we go through the timeline, we'll talk about that then. Okay. Keep going.
So then we have Scott. Right now, Scott is the other Wadsworth brother. Scott was convicted of basically kidnapping women, bringing them back to the shed, doing some crazy things to them, holding them hostage. Apparently, the entire family, for the most part, knew about all of this stuff going on. I think that's another reason why the PI kind of went that direction, because this entire family
got a criminal history.
Yeah, big time. So, other than that, Scott doesn't really play too much of a role, I don't feel, but because of his criminal record, and then him and Troy had done some things together with women at one point.
Okay, so how old is Troy?
I believe Troy's younger than Kurt is, but they're all between,
like, younger as in like 40s, or younger as in like 20?
No, 40s to 50s. I don't think any of them were that young.
Okay, and does Troy belong to this little militia?
He's known to be. He's known to be.
Known to be. Okay.
Known to be. Yes.
Okay.
So then we also have the Wadsworth's niece. Now she has went on and she has done a couple
Which
interviews.
Kurt's niece.
Yes.
Okay.
It would be his sister's daughter. Now, she had said that she had dated the bar that Dylan would frequent in Montello, the Saddle Sore. A woman named Ellen owned it, and her son's name was Dylan Berg. Dylan and the niece had dated for a while, and the niece had went on other channels and had said that Dylan had caught Kurt with the red lipstick on in drag, and also knew that Dylan Rounds was definitely bisexual, if not absolutely gay. She also confirmed it as well.
This is the niece.
Yes. Now, the niece also says that her entire life, her uncles have molested her, other women in the family, again, lots of strange, odd things. And something happened to another young man, and he ended up going to jail for something, and later on ended up unaliving himself, and supposedly it was all due to a lot of this. I'll go over that a little bit more too in the timeline.
Okay, so Troy is also a Wadsworth?
Yes.
Okay, and how is he related to Kurt?
They're all brothers.
So Troy and Kurt are brothers?
Yes. And Scott.
Okay. So Troy, Dylan, Troy, Kurt, and Scott. Okay, yep. Thank you. Tia, that's what I know that's been like some speculation like lately. I don't know if that's actually been proven by any other means.
No,
well, like I said, to me, I really don't care unless it pertains to why. So, I mean, that obviously for victimology purposes, it matters. But
I don't think Dylan
if it doesn't have anything to do with it, I think that they're kind of going down the wrong path, except for where to look in the victimology. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't think Dylan Rounds was ever caught in drag. It was more or less Kurt.
Kurt was the one that is kind of being the whole thing. Okay, because I did hear the rumor that it was Dylan, so thank you for squashing that.
I've heard the rumor that he could possibly be bisexual or gay, but I've yet to hear anything about Dylan Rounds in drag. So just to confirm that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, it is so convoluted.
It is, and there's so many
cases that do. They start to pick up, they start to pick up momentum on social media, and all of a sudden they are extremely convoluted, and we don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. But I mean, his mom is extremely vocal, so
she's trying. She's trying to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean you're fine. Because I'm thinking the same thing, because I keep going back and forth. Like, is this important? Like, are we just gonna sit like? Because it almost starts to feel like there's like going to be some bashing behind it, and then it's like, if it has to do with it, I get it, but otherwise I don't, because it seems to be like a general theme throughout like a lot of the lives I've watched.
It's taken over. It's most definitely taken over.
It is, but if that's why I'm like, how important is it? Is really what I want to know. Are cops actually saying they're leaning towards that or not? Because then it's like, perfect, let's account for it in the victimology, and then we're going to move on with these other people.
Well, here's the thing. All of those guys that I mentioned, at least I believe they said between 6 or 7 of these guys that were part of this group are now arrested.
Right.
Jim the P.I. feels as though the killer, I'm sorry, the person who possibly hurt Dylan is already arrested. If that makes sense.
Okay, well we'll get there. Let's not skip over. Okay, go back to your people, so everybody can know who all the players are. So we've talked about Kurt, we've talked about Troy, we talked about the niece.
We went over Dylan Berg.
Well, we went over to Dylan, of course. Okay, yes.
And then Ellen Berg, who is his mother. Ellen owns a Saddle Sore bar.
Oh, okay, this is the other Dylan B. Okay, right. Thank you.
Dylan Berg. And she, this is kind of where they tie in. She rents her bar to the Wadsworth. And that's how they're all connected. So
she rents her bar to them.
Yes. So the bar that Dylan goes to, and also the guys that he hangs out with, that they keep saying have this weird relationship together, all happen to be together the night Dylan disappears, and they all kind of follow the same routine. They all farm, and I think that's why the whole gay thing was becoming such a I don't even know what to call it, because I think it's irrelevant too. But I see why it was brought up so much. Like,
okay, so but this bar, from my understanding, is like like one of the only things that are there in this town that's like 20 minutes away, right? Is that the bar that we're talking about?
Yes. Dylan would stop there. He would stop there to eat sometimes. He would go there a lot
So
of
kind
times.
of like everybody who goes to that bar knows everybody who goes to that bar because it's kind of there's nothing else there.
A lot goes down in that bar. So apparently this bar can only operate 1 day a week. When Ellen is there, I have no clue.
So how do they rent the bar then? What are they renting it?
Well, the rent is $1,200 a month, and basically kind of how they've gotten through it is Ellen has a huge gambling problem, and they have slot machines in this bar, and she kind of, I guess, in trade for their rent every month. That's
and her name is Ellen?
Ellen B. She owns the bar, but also has a gambling problem, and then the money she would make that month from the Wadsworth, she apparently gambles away.
Okay. Still, I got to go back to this. Wadsworths are renting this bar.
Yes.
What are they doing in this bar that they're renting it if the bar could only be open 1 day a week?
Well, it's open more than 1 day a week, but legally it's only allowed to.
Oh, now I get it. Okay.
There's a lot going on.
I got it.
So apparently there's a lot of drugs, mainly meth, sold out of there. They are a very close-knit community, so they all know what's going on with each other.
Okay. So Michelle, is the hitchhiker or the dude who asked where Dylan lived related to the Dre group?
The who?
The Dre, the Ellen and the Dylan.
No, Chase. She's talking about Chase.
Oh, she's talking about Chase. Okay.
Yes. He's the bloody hitchhiker that
Okay, so we haven't got there yet. We're not BR, stop brushing her. Trying to get the whole thing.
I got you.
Yeah, that's the same thing because, like I said, I have a nice little timeline that I had started before we left, but then everything kind of went to the wayside. So, so she's got to fill me in on all the stuff that I've missed too. Okay, so I've never heard. Okay, hi Annie. I've never heard it's only open 1 day a week. She owns it because the brothers can't because they're felons. Right. Where do the bar hours come from? Where? Okay, so we need to cite a source here. Where are we getting that info?
That I got from. It's a channel called No Thanks Investigates.
Okay, was somebody on there being interviewed?
It was Jim the P.I. He's kind of been on there every day, but they have this call-in show. And one particular night, first her son Dylan called in. He was very scared, very nervous. So they kind of like cut the call a little bit. And then apparently like the next day, I was a little late on that live, but it was like the next day or the following night, Ellen called in with him. And they kind of broke down some of these things. So that's where I'm getting that from.
Okay, so it's basically from Ellen. She's saying that the bar can legally be open 1 day a week?
Well, that's not what she's outright saying, but she's given the behind the scenes of, I don't want to get Ellen in trouble here.
All right, well, we can find the link to that particular one too. So we can. I
have links from all the lives that I caught from any of this.
We'll put them all in the description when we're done here. So then you guys, and we'll put in why, like what it goes to, like what information it comes from. A case full of interesting characters. Yeah. I'm so confused. I'll have to watch from the beginning later. You came in really close to the beginning, MJ. So I think it's just understanding that there's a bunch of players at this point, and they're all either related or very close to each other because the community is so close knit. I'm telling you right now, I get them mixed up. I don't know necessarily sometimes which one is what. That's why I'm like, okay, which one is that one? That's the older one. That's the younger one. I think if you stick around, and you're going to actually probably understand it better by the end of it as we go through it.
A lot of it might not. I'm just trying to fill in stories and characters so that when we go over this timeline,
yes,
where they're kind of throwing all these names at you, you'll understand who is who, a little bit about
somewhat. Because I'll still ask questions, and you guys can still ask questions.
Yes, please, and correct me if I am wrong anywhere in this. If you had heard it different somewhere else, please let me know because this has been a crazy one. Okay, so 2 more characters here.
You've got people calling the PI, but he's never stepped in that town. I could call the PI, say what's what, and it's not true at all. That's my issue with the PI, which I get. But if Ellen's the one who calls into No Thanks Investigates, then she's the one relaying the information, which is why I think it's important to actually hear what she has to say, because it doesn't come from the PI or a third party.
Right.
I think you can blow up the chat all you want to. So no, Annie, I agree. Because I'm that person. I'm kind of on the boat. Like I would actually, and I know that would probably upset people, but I would talk to him and say, because I would want to know I would want to ask my own questions. You know what I mean? Like I would want to know my own stuff.
I totally agree.
Tia,
Listen,
do you
guys,
teach people how to research? Because you really should. And at Pink Dahlia, I totally agree. Her and LFT should actually like have little webinars or like a TED
I would
Talk
take
or
one.
something. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now, so we're Ellen and her son Dylan own the bar. We got that. The Wadsworths, they rent the bar at times or throughout or pay monthly rent.
Yep. So now we have the
Annie, I don't think that
alpaca
you're rude
farmer.
at all. Don't you even think that? Nobody thinks you're rude. This is how we work through things. We talk it through.
Annie, you better stop it. We love you here. You are not rude at all.
Don't do that. You're fine.
So you have the alpaca farmer who he actually
the alpaca farmer. This guy, okay.
He's apparently been a local of 30 years. He confirms pretty much everything that Jim says. The alpaca farmer
he's coming forward and speaking on his own.
Yeah, he called in last night, I believe, or the night before that, and he had a pretty long story. So this is kind of where the PI Jim, his biggest theory is coming from, that Dylan was possibly mistaken or shot by accident by this human hunting group. They had to clean it up real fast. That's why they took his truck, brought it back, and the boots ended up where they ended up because they know the drill out there. The alpaca farmer, what he kind of confirms is that he was out one night, very late at night. He can confirm seeing Dylan out driving late at night, and that he had entered over there. I believe he owns land or something over there, and he was shot at. And he kind of breaks down exactly what Jim is trying to explain.
This human hunting group is out hunting humans?
Well,
so why would I'm just saying, why would he be accidentally shot? Like, were they hunting a different human and actually got him instead?
Well, they say it's pretty dark. I don't know. See, now here's the other thing.
This is kind of real. They're trying to suggest that this guy went missing because he was a victim, an accidental victim of a human hunting group.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my question: is why would he be? They're hunting humans. Why would he be in an accident? Why wouldn't he be?
Well, because he's part of the group. He's part of the group, so he's not supposed to be killed. But
he's part of the human hunting group.
Yes.
So they shoot their own guy.
Well, well, that's the problem here.
What does this group do exactly? What does this group do?
This group does a lot to you. This group does a whole freaking lot.
I guess. I mean, there's really nothing else to do there but hunt humans. I mean, there's not a lot of them, so.
And apparently, these guys formed this group because their lands was being robbed from these different tweakers and whatnot all around. Right. It feels like the night of the living.
Literally, the story is absolutely absurd. This is why I'm like, this is crazy.
It is crazy. It no doubt, 100% nutty crazy. Okay.
And I actually made a comment about this at the very beginning when we were talking about like how much info on social media is considered too much info. Like, where do we draw the line of we want to know all this stuff, but by knowing all this stuff, what happens?
I agree.
So I agree. So, and I hope that he is still in contact with Ellie and he is giving them anything and everything he has. But as we know, a lot of FBI and things like that, they will pay attention to the social media. They'll be watching all of it. That's what they have teams of people doing now is, watching everything that happens surrounding these cases in case somebody comes up, because what do we know from, our history of looking at true crime is that the perpetrator typically likes to be involved in the searches and the investigation. So they pay attention. But I don't know. I do think there's a point where it's too much. I like the story to be out there, like the information, the facts behind it. I hate the continued just, now I have a new theory. Now I have a new theory. Now I have a new theory. And especially when you have some type of importance in the case, you really have to be careful with that.
I will say this. He's not hired on the case. He's another YouTuber, Chris from Monsters Under the Bed, now known as the Mob Crew.
Oh, I don't know him. I don't know that one.
He and his cousin, I believe, Nick, they were out there, and the drone footage and things that they were able to catch. I mean, and Chris handled the case completely.
Oh, I do know. They're the ones. Yes, I do know. I just didn't know that was their name. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
He did a great job covering it, and the way that's what he kind of did. He tried to put both both perspectives together as well. And then I did CDT's live as well, and she called me up on a lot of my information.
Okay.
First week. Is it like, yeah, kind of, Barbara? I feel like it's definitely a Pokemon type deal.
Especially when there is so much land, they just go and take over and they just squat there, and that's how it goes.
And apparently this is what Kurt was saying when he called in the sleuth mom. Apparently
it's not like Pokemon hunting. I don't think there's an actual app. If there is, I don't know.
It's running off of the slot machines from the saddle store.
Maybe that's what they're renting. I don't know. That's why I'm like, what are they renting the place for?
Oh man, don't make me laugh.
Nagram, even if you uploaded a video every day, it wouldn't be enough. I love this channel so much. Good vibes all around. Excellent delivery. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You got me all up in my feels now.
Thank you.
Let's see. BR the Star says, I dated a dude from Montana and he told me freaky stories about hunting humans. I swear, freaking creeped me out. Yeah. This is not your current guy though, right? So let's just clarify that. Otherwise, we may need to talk a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, look at, there you go. It's Janet McAndrews. Like, thank you for the shout out from Mob Crew.
Oh, of course. Our buddies over there. Chris Diddy did a really good job with that drone footage. I mean, if you don't live out there, he gives you a very, very good idea of the lay of the land for sure. For sure.
When you live in the backwoods with nothing to do, no stores, and you have to go to a different state to have beer, you can't tell me this shit.
And that's kind of what he did.
It's literally like Hunger Games. It's Hunger Games meets The Purge. Okay, so let's go back to this. As much as I don't want to take it seriously because it's freaking weird, it obviously is a serious thing that people are discussing. So somebody thinks that this whole group is hunting humans and that Dylan was accidentally killed. Okay. So
that's one theory.
One theory out there. Let's go with that. Yeah.
One theory. Okay. Now we're
so now let's go back to where we were at.
Well, now we're hitting the timeline, so we can just go.
Okay, so we have all the major players.
Yep. Major players, stories, all that good stuff.
Okay, perfect. I do not volunteer as a trivia. No. Well, yeah, I would too. I would have a lifetime PPO on him as well, BR the Star. Yes.
Okay. What did CVK say? I can't say.
Where at? Let me go back up.
I know, Annie. I said this. Oh, I know. That's where I took my little left and started to follow Jim a little bit too, because I said something's kind of up there. You know, he was very close to his grandparents, and that land was bought without his parents knowing. That says something to me, and that's kind of where.
Let's go through that, because I think that this whole backstory on this is a big deal. So he's going out and he's working on this. He's working on this land with Grandpa. So obviously they knew that land was Grandpa's.
Yeah, but you kind of know how that goes in family. He doesn't actually have to say what is it. I personally think that Grandpa bought it because maybe he knew Dylan was just a little different than his family, and he didn't have, the best family life over those last few years. So he got him out of there and put him where, in what he loved to do, and gave him a whole start, a complete way to take care of himself. I think the grandfather, that was a form of rescuing him, if that makes sense, of something.
Or would it just be simply setting up their grandchild to have the future that they know the grandchild wants, which is farming, and giving him a place to be able to do it when he knows that he's older and he's not going to be around to be able to ensure that he has that, and this is what he wants to leave him.
I was on that until it was mentioned that Candace did not know. And then I said, well, then why wouldn't that be? And I know my mother, my grandfather, they have that relationship, like he would spoil her. My nan wouldn't know anything, but there was reasons behind that though, too, and that's kind of where I went with it. I'm like, does Grandpa know something, or Grandpa maybe, or Dylan was the extra favorite? I don't know. He was only 16 years old, and it's a lot of responsibility, even now at 19, I just think him and Grandpa knew a lot together about it. And I think maybe
he's a teenage boy. Talking to your parents is not necessarily the first option.
No.
So, that typically will change later in the 20s. So, And let's just hope that there's an opportunity for something like that to happen.
I agree, Jeanette. We know you do too.
But grandparents will do things for grandkids that parents won't. Yeah. We know, Jeanette. We know.
We know, Jeanette. We know.
I do. I think it's, I don't know, because I think it's odd, but I also know that it would happen. I could see that totally happening.
Yep. Hi,
Okay.
Allie.
Alex! Do
Barb.
some tie-dye.
I have to get my hoodie from Allie. Barb, it takes place in between Lucin, which kind of falls, give me 1 minute here. I'm sorry, guys, give me 1 minute. It's between Montello, which runs along the Nevada side, and then you have Lucin that runs across the Utah side. So if you want to Google it that way, maybe
it's like right there on the border.
Yeah, it's kind of split to the way it is, but it's only 20 minutes, I believe, in driving.
Yeah, it's not far. Annie, no, I agree. I agree with the fact because he was so young. I think it would have been different at 19. But it is tough because are we going to understand the family dynamic of did they want this guy to go to college and do something else with his life and not be a farmer, and this was his passion and his love and that's what he wanted to do anyway? We don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. So there's got to be some. It's grandmas and grandpas sometimes they overstep.
Yeah,
it's kind of a thing they do.
Yeah, that's why I say he kind of has two divided camps right now. So it's kind of telling Dylan's story. You almost have to put two sides out there, and one side comes right from the heart, and the other side might be coming from actual truth and information. And if we could put it all together, there's a good shot of finding Dylan, and knowing what's really going on in his life.
Okay, so keep going.
Okay.
So we got Grandpa. So Grandpa gets the land. Grandpa passes away. It's his land, and he's going to go live out there. He was going out there over the summers when he was in high school and staying there. And now this year he's going out there, and that's where he's staying. And he's out there for the summer again, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So
when does he get there? Because he doesn't live there all year long.
Hold on one second. Pinky Eye, it has been beyond. It's so hard getting information between the two. And both work so differently. One is a little bit more open with their information and records and things like that. And the other is completely I banked on a lot of seeing the lay of the land through Chris from Monsters Under the Bed, his footage, because I would have been completely lost. Let's go to, we have April of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
There is a disagreement that takes place between Dylan and Don. He's a family friend who helps out on the farm at times. Don was questioning Dylan's decisions to work on a washing machine, about a pump or something, and Dylan
he was upset because he didn't feel like Dylan's priorities were straight on what needed to be fixed first.
Yes.
Yeah. So they got in a little tuffle. Aussie true crime. Hey. Wait, the grandfather I thought is still alive. Is the grandfather still alive? Because I thought he had passed. Somebody correct me then. Is it the other grandfather that passed? Because I thought
he does
the grandmother that passed. I'm gonna find out because I don't want to be giving you guys bad info. Give me 1 second. Keep going with your timeline, honey.
I got you, babe. So basically, Dylan and Don, they just decided to part ways. And not too much came out of that. And we get to Wednesday, May 25th. Dylan tells his mother about Chase, that he had an encounter with some guy who was barefoot and bloody along the roadside who wanted a ride to Montello. Thursday, May 26th, Dylan was in Montello, well, according to his bank account, and Dylan's last phone call with mom and dad. Go to the 27th. Eyewitness sighting of Dylan in Montello. Information relayed from police to family, but with changing stories cannot be reliable. So I'm not going to say that was a confirmed sighting. I spoke to a couple different people that are involved in the Facebook groups. They Same thing, not confirmed. Let's go to Saturday the 28th, 6:51 a.m. Dylan and his grandmother speak. He tells
Okay, that's why I thought it was Grandpa that passed. So maybe.
Huh?
I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out if Grandpa actually passed away or if that was just another rumor that I had heard and now I'm taking as fact and spreading it all over the place, which I don't want to do.
And I think I'm lagging behind you.
Are you?
Yeah. Can
You
hear
sound
me
perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Where was I? The 28th? Saturday?
As of right now, we're going to say Grandpa's alive until I can confirm otherwise. Unless CDT might know. CDT, Dylan's grandpa, is he still alive or did he pass away?
We're like, ding, ding, ding.
I know. I'm all, come on, CDT. Let's go. Hello.
Human hunting theory. I love Pink Daddy.
You missed the human hunting theory. You did. You're going to have to rewind for that. The Hunger Games meets the Purge.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, while we wait for CDT, I'll go to, where was we?
We're going Saturday morning when he calls Grandma.
Right. 6:51, calls Grandma. He's kind of in a rush because he wants to get the grain truck and the seeds and whatnot put away or covered because
it's going to rain.
Right.
And he needs to get it put away. And I've had a question about this, and I was hoping that maybe somebody has an answer since I left. Yes, you missed the question, CDT. We've been waiting for you to answer. You don't even know the question. Is Dylan's grandpa that he bought the land with, is that grandpa still alive? So that's my one question. My second question was, up until the time I left for Ohio, nobody could answer this question. Where was that grain found when they went to the property? Because was that grain truck ever actually put away?
This whatever it was, seeds or whatnot, was found in the truck. So exactly where he had it.
So it wasn't, but was it covered? Because he needed it all covered. He needed to get it put into the place. So I'm not sure. I assumed he was, but not for sure. Okay, thank you. I don't know. That might just have been something that I don't know. Don't take that and spread that anywhere, people.
Candace did.
But there was something about that truck because they said he had to get it covered because it was going to rain. It was backed into the shed. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I was wanting to know that because I'm like, that's a really big deal to timeline purposes of he gets off the phone with Grandma and he's in a rush because he's like, I got to go. And then Sharon McAndrews, thank you, Grandpa is still living. So Ixnay, I'll edit out of that. So it is. So the seed truck was backed in because I was okay. So
basically, what Candace had said was everything was put away and locked, which was kind of unusual for him. She said the grain part in the truck, not so much, but everything else, the shed, everything being locked was completely out the ordinary.
Okay.
All right. So he talks to Grandma. It goes back to the shed. That's about 5 miles west of his farm. Wanted to keep it out of the rain and said that he would call her back. Cell phone data.
Look at the stranger coming on in.
Look at this girl. Hello. Oh. Okay, so where are we at?
I just karate chopped that shit out of it. It's gone. It's out of the live. You're never going to hear it again.
So he tells his grandma he'll call her back.
Yep.
Confirmed cell phone data. He was at or near his farm in Lucin for this phone call. 3:41 p.m. released the last cell phone data that came from Dylan's phone at or near his farm. And that was confirmed.
What time? 3:41.
Yep.
Okay. He talks to Grandma like early, like before 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's 6:51 a.m.
Okay.
So then we go to May 28th, still 10 p.m. Chase is seen on camera 200 miles from Lucin. That's according to Candace on Sleuth Mom's interview. Dylan had not called his grandma back.
So let's remind everybody, Chase is which one?
Chase is the bloody shoeless guy that needed to borrow Dylan's phone and a ride that Dylan had told his mom about.
Okay. I'm going to go off camera for a second, but I'm still right here.
So as Chase is being seen at the Little Caesars, he's also seen digging in the desert looking for a bag. he was asking about his kids and his vehicle. Chase's dad tells him that I have your kids, like, you know, basically like, what are you going crazy? I have your kids, I have your car, like, just come home. What are you doing? I keep going back to questioning why he lied to his mom about Chase to begin with. I'm sure to not make her worry as much, but why bring it up to begin with?
So let's go back to what he lied to his mom about Chase.
Well, he basically he describes, you know, Chase being bloodied and shoeless, and he looked like a creep and all this other stuff, and that he didn't give him a ride, but here he did.
Okay.
So
that he didn't give him a ride on the 28th.
Wait, I think you're breaking up. Hold on a second.
Am I? Okay, hold on. That they're saying that he did not give him a ride on the 28th, on Saturday.
Right, Pig Daddy. That's not all the way confirmed either. Some say that they know Dylan took Chase and gave him that ride, but he did not use Dylan's cell phone. Then you have P.I. and the other crew who say that never happened, and that their question is, how did Chase get from, like, how did he get from Montello to Ogden? It's called, I believe, where he was seen at. Yeah, Ogden, I believe.
Ogden. Yeah. So who tells the mom? Who's telling whose mom that he gave Chase a ride?
Dylan tells his mother that Chase asked him for a ride.
But this is not on the 28th.
According to the timeline, earlier on the 28th, because that's the day he technically, that's the other thing that's not technically confirmed either, but we're thinking that's the day.
I'm just really confused because he doesn't talk to his mom on the 28th.
Exactly, Annie. He told his mom he didn't give her the ride, but he did.
Which Dylan?
You have Dylan Rounds.
Right.
That's the one who's missing, and he talked to his grandmother.
We're talking about the other Dylan gave Chase a ride?
No. We're talking about Dylan Rounds.
But he didn't talk to his mom on the 28th.
Wait, hold on. He called.
The last day he talked to his mom was like Thursday or something like that.
He talked to Grandma on 6.
Yeah, the last phone call he has with his mom is on the 26th.
Hold on a second. Because this is the timeline I took from the site. So did he tell Grandma?
The ride was, okay, hold on. CDT saying, hold on. CDT saying the ride was May 25th, and the locals say Dylan did give Chase the ride. So this is okay. So and then here's my other question then. So at 10 p.m., where Chase is seen on camera 200 miles away, he was already taken there on the 25th. Is CDT or Michelle? Somebody tell me if that's that's the correct information.
Well, because now I want to confirm the 28th though, because I must have mixed my dates up. Is the 28th the same day that Chase is seen at Little Caesars too? Wonder if CDT knows. Because if not, then I may have the 28th and the 25th confused. But I thought on the 28th, I don't think at 10 p.m. Chase was seen at the Little Caesars.
Yes. Aussie True Crime. He spoke to his grandmother on the 28th. So, but my question to everybody is Chase. So Chase on camera 200 miles away was Saturday the 28th. Okay. The ride was Wednesday the 25th. Okay. So my question is, Chase was already gone on the 25th. He was not in the area on the 28th because he was already there on the 25th.
So you're breaking up it for me.
Am I really? Shit. Okay.
Let me say it again.
Okay, so my question is, can you hear me okay now, or am I still breaking up?
Just a little bit.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, I think I can hear you better.
Okay, you guys, do I sound okay to you guys in chat? Yeah, the whole thing is confusing. I want clarity on that. Chase was seen 200 miles away from Lucin. No, you guys don't come over here and start fighting. We're not even doing that. He's seen 200 miles away on the 28th. That's what Candace states.
10 p.m. on the 28th for Chase.
He was driven away on the 25th, and so he was not in Lucin on the 28th or 29th when they believe that he went missing, which they actually believe he went missing on the 28th because he never called anybody back that day, right?
The only phone call he has on the 28th was with Grandma at 6:51 that he rushes. And then they had the other for 3:41 p.m. That was the last cell phone data that came from Dylan's phone at or near his farm.
Correct. Okay. So Chase is basically out of the question is kind of what I'm asking.
Because Chase was seen on camera 200 miles from Lucin. And that came from Candace.
Right.
And that's
Are you guys having dogs? I have a few of them if you want to borrow one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so we're on the 28th still. I just wanted to be clear that he was already gone, and he was still gone the night of the 28th.
How did Chase get to, like, how did Chase get from Montella to, oh, I'm going to say it wrong again, Ogden.
So Dylan did give him a ride, but he gave him the ride on the 25th.
Right.
And he told his mom, Candace, that he did not give him the ride.
Right.
Okay, so we're
Chase
clear.
had a very eventful weekend.
So he leaves it. So Chase is gone. 25th gone. 28th on surveillance. 10 p.m. So still gone. Good. Oh, geez. Hold on.
So
now keep going. We're still on the 20. No, we're going to Sunday the 29th, I think.
Yeah, we're going Sunday, May 29th. Dylan had not called his grandma back, so she called Don, the guy I talked about earlier. He worked for him, for anybody just coming in. He had worked for Dylan to check on him since he wasn't answering her phone calls. Don and Jim was another helper on the farm. They go to Dylan's farm to look for him, but he's nowhere to be found. Now we go to Monday, May 30th. Don and Jim have not been able to locate Dylan, so they let Grandma know. Grandma reaches out to JD, Dylan's best friend, to see if he had heard from him. 11 a.m. he had not heard from Dylan, so JD reached out to Dylan's mother to see if she had heard from him. Candace called around to her family members. No one had spoken to Dylan. Dylan's parents drive to the farm to see if they could figure out where Dylan is. And then a missing persons report is filed by Candace during the drive down. They arrived to find the C truck been put in the shed. Dylan's truck was at his trailer and it had been pressure washed. The seat position had been moved very far forward to accommodate a shorter person, and there were no tracks or footprints. 90 minutes into missing persons report and search of the area, SOSAR locates Dylan's boots tossed behind a pile of dirt 100 yards south from where the grain truck is located. The SOSAR takes the boots and places them in the patrol vehicle. Boots would not be sent to the lab until a week later. Now the boot deal is a little, and this is again where they tie it back to this group and some other incidents that had happened because of Dylan's boots. Dylan is not known to take off his boots, according to his mother. Like, he lives in those things. They were
she says like that he buys when that pair wears out, he buys the same pair like over and over again. He likes the same pair.
And
hi, honey.
Where they were located was in an odd place, facing an odd direction. But they kept trying to connect Dylan Rounds with the other kid, Aiden, who had went missing, because they both didn't have their shoes on or something. But apparently, according to Candace, that Aiden was known to take his shoes off all the time. But
Dylan did not. And it was like the only pair of boots that he really had. And hi, Nikki. I didn't want to not say hi because I know that.
But then you also have this Chase story where Chase comes up to Dylan all bloody with no shoes. It's like all these shoeless people running around, and we don't
And then Dylan just like leaves his shoes. Okay. So this is what they find on Sunday or Monday at the house. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
Monday. So now we're Monday, May 30th. Okay.
Yep.
And there's some interesting things about the truck, and you maybe said it when I had to go put a dog in the house, but so
the positioning of the seat,
correct,
was pushed forward, like, for a shorter person. But if someone did clean out that truck and they cleaned it from the inside out, literally, may have, as vacuuming or doing whatever they're doing, pushed that chair up and forgot to push the seat back. That's kind of where I went with that.
Okay, and then the whole thing with the tire marks. Did you talk about that? Did I miss that?
No, I didn't touch on that yet.
Okay, well, because the truck was completely cleaned.
Yep.
Except for the undercarriage, I believe, but the truck was completely cleaned, and it had rained. There was no tire. There was no tire marks for the truck, like coming in and out, right?
Right.
Shoeless people and alleged kidnappings and some human hunting, Pink Dahlia. Don't forget that. It's just like, yeah, we really need like an actual presentation for this. No, you can't send super chats. I didn't monetize my channel. This is all just for funsies as of now. I will probably monetize it at some point.
It'll get fun real soon, Pink Dahlia.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because it's like I can't. It's so hard because it's like I can't guarantee. This is like my hobby. I love this. I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking about cases, but I got like 50 bazillion things in life, and so I would hate to like until I know that I can actually be and put like everything in. I don't know. It's just I just like doing this. I like talking about crime. Man, thank you though, Pink.
We love her.
I love you for it. And they forgot to clean the wheel wells. But the whole thing with the tires, it's like there's no in and out. So there's no the truck there's not a tire track.
Yep.
Okay, can I send a PayPal? Pink Dollar, you stop that. I don't need that at all. I love that you're just here. You're here, and I love you to pieces.
I love that you're here just hanging out with us. Thank you. Can you guys hear all those fireworks back there? Oh my God.
You got fireworks going already?
Ooh, it'll be all week. It'll be all weekend. I'm gonna play.
Look at this fancy 4th of July weekend over there.
Yeah. It's all happening.
You guys can't even do like fireworks until like midnight because the sun doesn't go down until like 10. So
I know. I keep forgetting we're so off in time. We're like 4 hours.
Okay, so Monday we have they can't find him. They let Grandma know they can't find him. Yeah. They reach out to the best friend, which is what's his name?
JD.
JD. Okay, that's
Dylan's best friend.
Okay. So and now Monday is when the parents drive out there, correct?
Yep.
Because they're both in Idaho, if I remember correctly.
Yep. That's ma'am.
Okay. I think I'm caught up. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So then we go to Tuesday, May 31st. Family received a call from a citizen of Montello, Kurt. We remember Kurt, right, guys? Who used to work for Dylan, stating Dylan was being held in a specific location by Chase and another gentleman in Montello, Nevada. Law enforcement sent out 6 deputies, but he was not there. They searched the entire property. No signs of Dylan.
Okay.
Keep that in mind, okay? Thursday, June 2nd, family is told they found a drop of blood on the boots. Now, I had also heard Justin say that it could also be hydraulic fluid as well. And if you guys know in chat if that was confirmed or not, but they wasn't 100% sure about the blood on the boots yet. And I don't think the boots were sent into evidence at that point.
Well, they would have been able to at least test it to see if it was actual blood.
Okay. All right. So then Thursday, June 2nd. We went over the boots. I'm sorry. Sunday, June 5th, family was given permission by law enforcement to take the pickup truck from the farm without fingerprinting or forensic investigation. From what I had heard from Candace, after she picked it up from them, she drove it back and then she took it to state police herself and dropped it off. I don't know how this woman managed to function through something like this, because there is no handbook on how to find your child if they're missing, and especially in this situation. And the fact that, I mean, if she didn't make certain moves herself, like, I mean, that truck absolutely should have been fingerprint. I mean, you name it. That truck was brought into question. So heavy. Why wasn't it? So, I mean, I give Candace a lot of credit there. I really do. So then we go to Friday, June 10th. Candace meets with ECSO for almost 5 hours, and they went through the case from top to bottom and agreed to offer additional resources for search. Tuesday, June 14th, Boneville County, Idaho, took Dylan's pickup truck into custody. Oh, I'm sorry, June 6th, Dylan's boots are logged into the police lab. So Wednesday, June 15th, investigation classified as criminal investigation, and FBI has officially become involved in the investigation. And that's of the press release of June 1st. I agree, Kelly. Like, I just don't, I don't understand.
What'd you say? Let me find it real quick.
Saturday, June 18th, both of Dylan's campers were taken into police custody. Candace verified this. Now, the last 2 weeks, the FBI has been examining a number of houses in Park Valley area of Utah, tons of farmland there. And all these dudes happen to be involved in farming and no longer have a job because of Dylan. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Okay, repeat that again.
The last 2 weeks, FBI has been examining a number of houses in Park Valley area from Utah. It's nothing but farmland there, according to that drone footage that I watched.
Okay.
I just think it happens to be a little coincidental that their FBI is now looking in a different state on farms, and all these men that's part of this group, part of him, they are all farmers. They all help on farms, and they are all, for the most part, jobless. Even Kurt confirmed that he hasn't worked in 35 days. And that's because
they're not working because they all worked on.
Well, I think
they all worked with Dylan on his farm.
Yeah, like, I don't want to say they were all steady workers of his, but
they're all just workers.
They will come on here and there, and then from what I've been told, that they kind of take their money, they buy their meth and things like that, and they kind of work day by day type of thing. It's not, there was no schedules and things like that. I think Don was the only one who was an actual everyday worker for Dylan.
Okay, and had he still been working for Dylan even though they'd gotten in that fight?
Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of them, well, that's kind of where I'm torn with this group. Were they for Dylan? Were they not for Dylan? They knew how much cash he had on him, but so did everybody from the bar. There's so many different things that can factor into this kid's disappearance, and then you have these two camps. So trying to get the truth between the two, and it's been crazy. Jeanette, that was not confirmed. From all the recent pictures that I see of him, he doesn't have any indication. Kind of the meth, AK tweakers, whatnot. They have little marks on their face and things like that. So far, everyone that has spoke for Dylan hasn't said anything that they just run with that one, kind of gay theory. But I've yet to hear anything about drugs from him. But you know how that goes. If, people with problems and addictions, if they know money's around, they'll get to that money so that they can get to their drug. And Dylan might have been, maybe Dylan ran into one of those guys that night, or maybe that was a setup. I feel like there's so many different theories in this.
Well, yeah, it's all over the place. It's kind of,
yeah.
Hi, Melmac.
Hey, Melmac. So then we'll get to this week. Dylan's neighbor was arrested. The warrant is against 59-year-old James Brenner.
See, another person up in the mix.
Yes, but he didn't come into the mix until this week.
Okay.
He's kind of new. For possessing a firearm as a felon, and was filed Wednesday. This isn't the first time James has faced that charge. He was sentenced in 2012 to 33 months in prison for being a felon in possession of a firearm. He has other felony convictions on his record as well. The arrest
We have that arrest affidavit if you guys want to look at it. If you guys want to go over it. That's up to, I'll leave it up to the chat. If you guys haven't seen it, you want to see it, we can go through it. So this is the neighbor.
Yep. Wait, where are we at? The arrest warrant indicates Brenner was squatting in a trailer about 5 miles from Dylan's property. He and another man, and you see how they say that they think whoever the person that could have harmed him did have help, like a lookout. He and another man, referred to as DH in court documents, were friends of Dylan and his family. The Box Elder County Sheriff's Office interviewed Brenner on June 7th during their search for Dylan. According to court documents, 9 days later, Sheriff and FBI executed a search warrant on James' trailer. During that search, ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, and speed loads, all related to muzzle loading, were located and photographed in the trailer, but the items were not seized. There was no muzzle loader firearms located in the trailer at that time, the warrant says.
Okay, do you want to pull up the arrest affidavit? We could go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is interesting. And at this point, nobody actually knows if this has anything to do with Dylan being missing. This could be totally separate, or it could have something to do with it. Yeah, I totally agree, ATS. I something happened to one of my kids. I don't know if you, I'd be like a mess.
That's the thing. There really isn't. There's no handbook to when your child goes missing. And, you know, when you think about it, law enforcement wasn't really involved the first 2 weeks. So she kind of did this on her own. And I think that's why the family, and not Candace, hired the PI, because they needed help. And sadly, they couldn't work together, but I do think that they both have the same intentions.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, the whole family just wants to find him. But then you have, law enforcement isn't going to necessarily want a PI working, because PIs can, do some things a little differently. I would not be stopped. Yeah, no, I would not be stopped. I can't even imagine. And I think that comes to the whole social media thing again, though, as they're giving her a lot of grief.
They are.
But they don't feel her. They're not in her shoes. They can't. So she just looks like some crazed woman that's like running all over the YouTube streets talking about her son that's missing.
Right.
But it's like, you have no idea. We talk about this, I think, every single time. Like, human beings are very layered. There's not one thing. One day she's going to be mad. 1 hour she's probably going to be mad. The next one she's going to be devastated. The next one she's going to be scared. Like, so she may sound one way in one and not the same way on the next one. Could you imagine the emotions?
And think about this too. If she's running a lot of this and she's getting no help, if she starts all the way breaking down and settling with the fact that, the worst of the worst.
Yep.
Who's fighting for her son then? And she was catching a lot of shit because she didn't cry or something. You don't know what that woman does at night in bed, in the shower, when she's not on a YouTube live. She has to, everybody's different, but in my eyes, I see it as she's just very focused. And because she didn't give, I guess, the exact Susie Homemaker story that they were looking for. And she was, I guess, honest afterwards about, not being around for a little bit in Dylan's life and things like that, things not being so perfect. It was like she caught even more shit. And I'm just like, so do you want the honesty? Do you even deserve to know that to begin with? Because does that help you find Dylan? Her stat, I mean,
no.
It's been really unfair, I feel like, all the way around. I feel like if Jim's tone may be a little different, and if him and Candace could have really worked together, I no doubt think by now Dylan may have been found one way or another.
Here's the thing is, at least, and this is where I go back and forth on the PI situation, is because at least there's somebody who's who wants, it was Justin's mom that hired P.I. James. Yeah, yes. So, but
It was
this goes back to the whole back and forth thing again, is how many other people are volunteering to do anything in that area to help? This is not like a overly populated area where somebody's going to come across, what happened very easily. Like, this is going to be more intricate, in my opinion.
exactly.
Yeah, LFT, absolutely. The whole thing is like, wait a minute, what? Yeah.
When I tell you, when I tried to put this timeline together and I couldn't even put it in timeline form because you have so many different sides, and they both have some little spring to it, but they both have a lot of information too. And when you put it all together, it is this crazy story, but all these people start to make sense. And then they start making sense into Dylan's world that maybe was just a little bit too big for Dylan, I think. And they took advantage, possibly.
Right. Okay, so let's go. We can go through this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I have because I have this on my phone too. So I'm gonna try to just read it straight from my phone because it's way better for my eyeballs.
And I'm extra blind. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Brandy. Jeanette. PTS News, Kelly.
So James is actually, I don't know if you guys saw this part, but he's actually 5'1" and 190 pounds.
Well.
And he's 59 years old.
Mm-hmm. They're all very much older than Dylan. They're all like Dylan's grandfather's age, or could be grandfather's age.
Yeah, hold on. I know I have this in here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. Okay, so this is, once again, this is for the neighbor. Yeah, short as heck, absolutely.
I agree, CBK. I agree.
Okay, so James Brender, defendant herein, knowing he had been convicted of a crime punishable by a term of imprisonment exceeding 1 year, did knowingly possess a firearm, a .22 caliber Winchester rifle, and the firearm was in and affecting commerce, all in violation of 18, the statute. Complainant Jeremiah. Okay, the complainant Jeremiah, being duly sworn, hereby states that, I gotta change the page, I think that. Being duly sworn, the felony complaint is based on information obtained through an investigation consisting of the following. Defined as a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation currently assigned to the Violent Crimes Task Force in Salt Lake City Field Office. The information contained in this complaint is based on the investigation I conducted along with other special agents of the FBI from Elder and investigators from Box Elder County Sheriff's Office. On May 30th, 2022, Box Elder County Dispatch received a call of a missing 19-year-old male, initials DR. He was last seen in Lewiston, Utah area on this date. DR contacted a relative by phone and told them that he was putting the grain truck into the shelter. The shelter for the grain truck was reported to be on parcel of land owned by, this is interesting to me. Okay. Putting the grain to the shelter of land and parcel of land owned by Box Elder Land and Livestock, and is adjacent to two other parcels that are owned by SH and RI. I think that's important. These parcels are open to each other and collectively used together. The subject in this case, an adult male named James Brenner, has no ownership in the land parcels mentioned above and is squatting in a trailer located on the land. And if you guys are saying anything to me in chat, I can't see it. I'm not even watching, so just FYI. The missing 19-year-old male DR's property is a 5-mile walk towards the southeast of where Brenner was currently living. Brenner and another Lewiston resident, DH, were considered family friends of DR and his family, Dylan. In searching for the missing 19-year-old male, Brenner was interviewed by the agency on June 7th, 2022. DH was also subsequently interviewed by law enforcement On or about June 11th, Box Elder County, in their search for the missing 19-year-old DR, requested assistance from the FBI. On June 16th, with the assistance of the FBI, executed a search warrant at the trailer where Brenner was living. During that search, ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, and speed loads, all related to muzzle loading, were located and photographed in the trailer, but the items were not seized at the time by the agency. There were no muzzle loader firearms located in the trailer at that time. Okay. June 20th, a friend and neighbor of Brenner, DH, was interviewed by the agency and the FBI. During the interview, DH advised that DR went missing, that after DR went missing, and sometime after Brenner's initial June 7th interview with the agency, Brenner brought 3 black powdered guns over to DH's residence and asked him to safekeep them. When DH asked why, Brenner stated that he needed to do this for his own safety, and that the last time he had trouble with the law, they took everything from him, and he did not want the things he had left to be taken again. DH agreed to store the muzzle loaders for him, and Ursa just picked up a toy. Ursa, seriously? She's got terrible timing, I swear. It's creepy that she's squeaking that toy. Yeah. Ursa, can you please go back inside? Okay, hold on, did I go the wrong way? I think I went the wrong way. Okay, let me make sure I have the right page up. Okay. Hold on.
This is right, Kelly? Yes. Yeah. Oh, yep. Melmac, I tried to look into that too, and I couldn't find too much. Everyone's socials are kind of shut down with this. I did look for it.
Okay. So at the time of the interview, DH turned over the 3 muzzle loaders to the agency, who booked them into evidence. On June 21st, DH was again interviewed by the FBI. During this interview, DH advised that Brenner had also brought him a .22 caliber rifle around the same time he had brought over the muzzle loaders. Well, why didn't he tell him that to begin with? DH told us that he didn't. Well, they're going to answer me. DH told us that he didn't mention the .22 rifle when interviewed before because he had been owed money by the rifle's original owner, and that he felt he should have a claim over the .22 rifle that Brenner asked him to store to cover the debt. He explained to us that the rifle had been left in a trailer on the property where Brenner had been living prior to Brenner living there, by a person who owed DH money. Brenner, upon moving into the trailer, had taken possession of it. DH knew that Brenner wasn't allowed to have firearms because of his criminal history. DH turned over to the FBI the .22 rifle and case that Brenner had personally handed to him and asked him to store. The rifle was loaded with 5 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition. The rifle was loaded with 5 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition. How much ammunition can it hold? I'm serious. The .22 caliber rifle is a Winchester model, blah, blah, blah. On the rifle, it states made in New Haven, Connecticut. No serial number was located. On June 21st, another search warrant was conducted at the trailer where Brenner was currently living. This is a lot of search warrants for this trailer.
There's going to be more.
Okay, on June 21st, another search warrant was conducted at the trailer where Brenner was currently living. During this warrant, the agency seized a muzzle loader, 1 box of 45 lead round ball ammunition, 1 box of Spear 570 lead ball, 1 box of Federal 45 lead ball ammunition, ignition caps, 4 pounds of Hornady black powder, and speed loads, and it booked them into evidence. So now there's even more. Okay. Okay, let's see. We have one more page. Okay. On May 21st, 2012, James Brenner was sentenced to 33 months in prison for conviction of felon in possession of a firearm. Brenner also has additional felony convictions on his criminal history. Based on the foregoing information, we're requesting a search or an arrest warrant. Okay. Holy smokolos.
And it basically says that he is not, the warrant doesn't mention that he's a suspect in Dylan's disappearance.
All right, I'm gonna look that up. Didn't I just say it? Hold on. My husband's gonna look it up. The rifle, 22 caliber rifle is a Winchester model 69.22 SLORL. 69.
Amber, I completely agree. There's going to be so much more now that they have like the ball rolling. I feel like if they're uncovering these things from that neighbor, could you imagine what other neighbors have? You know.
Well, this isn't even really a neighbor. This is a squatter who's living in a trailer on this property. So, I have to question: did he know that this guy was living on the property and was okay with it? And if it was left in this trailer prior to, that noise makes me giggle. Thank you, CDT. Yes, she's enjoying. She's biting on a Santa Claus.
The torture of your life.
And she was sleeping all nice and peaceful, so she's now got all this energy. So how many does it hold? It holds 5? Comes with a cartridge that holds 5 or 10?
Or detached to a box. 5 round.
5 round, or okay, so it had 5 in it. And it wouldn't have a serial number because of the year that it was produced. Possible. Okay. So he got arrested, I believe, yesterday. My day off, Michelle? Okay, Ursa. This is way too serious of information for you to just be squeaking stuff. One of my dogs is convinced there's a squeaky toy in the house. Right? That's okay. Before we actually went live, before we went live, Michelle's dog started barking, and then all my dogs were like, "Oh, there's a dog here. Let's all bark." And I'm like, "No, it's not here." Yeah, LFT, you guys should dig into this too. Yeah, so he was just arrested. He was taken into custody, and this is his arrest warrant, his arrest affidavit. So, wow, that's a lot of search warrants for this little trailer. But they basically ended up arresting him because somehow, he got more guns from the time that they went there the first time, and he supposedly gave all these guns that he had to DH. Then he comes back. Oh, Sleuth's, yeah. See, now I got all the dogs going crazy. Melmac's dog's going crazy. Sleuth's dog's going crazy. Good job, Ursa. You got all the dogs going crazy. Here, let me turn the camera on so they can see before it gets too dark.
The head true crime dog. And now, with this whole squatting situation.
All right, I don't know if Barb's still here. If Barb, if you're listening and you're somewhere in the background, then you're gonna miss her. Come here. Oh my gosh, I can't lift her anymore. She's way too big, you guys. Oh Jesus. Okay, say hi to the lovely people. Say hi. It's not me. There you go.
See? Hey, babe.
Hi.
Oh, her face is really filling out now too.
Oh, she's so big. Look at how big she is compared to my face.
I didn't realize her pattern, like her color patterning was like that. You're really seeing that now. You didn't see that like weeks ago. Oh. But T, think of the whole squatting thing. Think of the human hunting group, and they're policing their lands from these people who are squatting and doing drugs and leaving trash type of deals.
Right. So did he let this guy? So has anybody heard an interview with anybody, like with Candace or anybody, that says that Dylan knew this guy was staying there?
This is kind of right where I left off at. Was right.
Okay. Maybe one of you. Maybe, I know she's just huge. She's so big. I can't even pick her up anymore. But she's silly because, yes, this is Ursa. The day I got her, I think I posted on my community wall that I got her, and she's like tripled in size. She's like almost 50 pounds. But she still thinks she's a lap dog because the other dogs are lap dogs. Oh gosh, she's just too big.
I love when she tortures you. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like, and she
When
knows
she what?
when she tortures you. She knows when she's doing it. She's
Oh,
all
yeah.
up in your face. She can't help
Uh-huh.
it. She's everywhere.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand how big she is.
No, it's a big baby.
Okay. Oh my God, I love her. Well, thank you guys.
Done because
She's
right,
just
Amber, right.
She's huge. She's just so big. Giant puppy has no idea what size she is, and it's chaos. And then
That's the
she just gets
last
into
note
the
I
wall.
have, Amber. It's the last note I have.
Okay, let's see. This is why I think is it the Jim who searched with Don because he was living on the property in the trailer. I remember Mom saying.
At one point in time or another, he had stayed there.
Okay. Go over there. Go, please. Thank you. They don't ever think. Yeah, I know she is huge. They don't ever think they've outgrown how they think they're too big. Oh goodness. Totally
You
throws
guys
me
think
off.
this is more like a money thing because they knew how much money he had, or do you think maybe it could?
Well, was he the kind of guy that's like throwing like that people know how much money he has? Like, is he actually saying that?
That weekend, he told people. Now you get different stories. You get the one group says 20,000, 30,000, and then Jim and that group says 80,000 that he had on him, and that nobody uses bank accounts there. So he did have all this supposed cash on him that night or that weekend.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my timeline that I had started. So let me see. So where is the guys that were searching? So it's Don and Jim, the searching guys. And you think that Jim is
the Jim that went back with Don. Don goes to check on Dylan the first time, and then when he goes back the second time, he brings Jim back with him to check.
Right, the next day. So he goes Sunday and then he goes Monday. And who do we think this Jim guy is into what we know now?
And I think that's where Kelly thinks that it could be
Amber.
The other one. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta switch them up too. Switch.
I just put them together anymore.
Kurt did say in his interview, why didn't Jim sound the alarm sooner? Well, why didn't Don? I mean, I think they're sounding the alarm. They're telling the family that he's not there. So I think his arrest is the first anyone hearing of who lived near Dylan. Right. Okay. Do we have the drone footage? Or can we play that or no?
I'll try. Let's see if it works.
Okay. I don't have that, so. I remember hearing at the beginning that nobody lived near him, that he was out there and he was all alone, and this was like this big vacant, area that this only 19-year-old kid was out there on his own. So that's why I'm asking, did he not know that the guy was there on his own property?
T, can I send it to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And what is Jim, who was picked up for the warrant, beat up James? But how do we know that James isn't Jim? Is James that's picked up for the warrant, is that Jim that went with Don? Is that Jim that of the Don and Jim? Does that make sense? I think that's where ATS was going, and I'm trying to figure out. And that's what's sad, because it's still so confusing because there's so many players yet not players. Like, it's weird. Like, it supposedly was so empty, and then all of a sudden all these people are coming out of the woodworks with all this stuff that's happening. Jim was picked up for a warrant for beating up a neighbor, according to Candace. Big Dahlia, I'll have to double check the books. Just pencil it in. We'll be there. Yeah, Pink Dahlia, see Jim and Don. But we don't know yet if Jim and the gun James are same person yet. So that's what I'm thinking. I do think the seat being moved up to look like a short person drove is a setup. Or they look behind but not if the dude is 5'1". Dylan's like 6. What is he? 6?
Yeah.
He's tall. My nose is starting to itch. He's tall. He's like 6 something. I have the flyer and I could tell you. And Hold on. Let me look
Cynthia,
at it.
if I messaged you my notes, girl. Whew.
I think I had his information on the other missing persons flyer. This one doesn't have it. I'm almost positive it was like he was like 6'2" or 6'4". He was really tall. That's what I remember his mom saying. So the seat would be moved up if the dude is only 5'1".
Yep. Oh, 5'11".
Oh, yes, Melmac. Thank you. Did we talk about that? Because that was during the whole truck thing that I might have missed, that we had the whole non-working four-wheel drive engaged. That was another big deal about the truck, was that that Dylan had to have the transmission replaced and the four-wheel drive did not work anymore, and it hadn't worked for months. So when they found the truck all nice and cleaned, the seat was pushed up for a short person, and the truck was in four-wheel drive, which Dylan would not have done had he been the one driving, because he knew it didn't work. Right. So like, where did they go that the person thought that, you know, they needed four-wheel drive and didn't know it didn't work? Barbie missed her. Now she's gone. Mike took her for a walk. She's out of here. I get that maybe short 5'1", but is he that dumb to keep it there? LOL. Well, he just had like 700 search warrants served on his house, and he still had guns there by the last one. I don't know.
I agree, Kelly. I believe they're different. Like, they're separate people, and we're just learning of these neighbors or squatters now.
Yeah. Okay, so where does the bar fits in? Because of that's the supposed sighting on Friday night, the 27th, right? There's nothing else about the bar that matters, really. Because he doesn't go back there the 28th. Nobody sees him there the 28th. Yeah, wherever they dumped Dylan. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So, okay, then I have a question, and this is just off topic, or not off topic, but off of, I don't even know what the hell it is. It just is a question. We're going to go with it. Why were Dylan's shoes off? Like, what is the general theory of why his shoes were off?
That's another thing. They don't. You have two different sides with two different theories of why. Jim doesn't think it's a big deal, where Candace is like, my son wouldn't do that. He wouldn't take his boots off and just leave them there like that. Where they were.
What would he be doing outside without his boots on? So it would make sense that his boots are over by his place, but they're not. They're found.
They're almost by the trash in a sense, you know, and the direction, you know, they're facing his camper. His boots face Dylan's camper. If you think about if he had to go around that way and stop, like as if he did, that wouldn't make sense.
This is a great question. So wouldn't most of the people who had been working with him know that his four-wheel drive didn't work? So if these guys were all working with him, then they may know. So it would be somebody who wouldn't know that the four-wheel drive didn't work.
Or maybe got stuck, forgot, and tried to just do it and was like, oh shit, then realized.
Yeah. Because
they're just so used to driving, you know. And they said that Dylan used his truck like a literal tool. Like he didn't, it wasn't something, it was used almost for everything.
See, Melmac, that's a great question. What if he does have another pair? What if he got a brand new pair and that's the old pair he threw out?
Yep.
Because like Mom says, he gets the exact same pair over and over and over again.
There's just a lot to do with this whole boots off thing. And that could just be something to distract too, to make it seem like it's this group who kind of does these things, or, you know, it's just odd. Chase had no shoes. The guys that these guys like put guns in faces, they take their shoes. Like the females that Scott and Troy had been in dealings with, I believe, right, that Troy's ex-girlfriend, he had kidnapped her. He had, in order for her to leave, he had her lure in a mother and daughter. He kept them for 4 months. He lived close to a post office. The little girl somehow escaped, but he kept them with no shoes on. And she ran to the post office. They called law enforcement. Law enforcement came. He did get in trouble for luring them there, but no charges, I believe, on the kidnapping end. And according to Jim, a lot of these women that were involved between these brothers didn't speak up, didn't press charges. They're all pretty petrified of this family and what they're capable of.
The Wadsworths.
The brothers.
The brothers. Which is Kurt. Scott.
Troy. And some more,
okay.
But we don't know.
Right. And so where did Troy come in?
I personally think a lot goes on Troy, but Troy came in with that particular story, and then I was hearing a lot about Troy in the lives, that Troy had the closest type of relationship that we don't really want to go into with. And him and Kurt were more friends. And that's why Troy had the scratches on his arm. Possibly Troy had help. I keep going back there. I don't know why, but I did.
Okay, that was my question. So we were going to talk about this when we talked about the timeline. Thank you for reminding me. When did Dad see Troy with the scratches? Let me go back over here. Did he see him on Monday with the scratches?
I'm not sure. I watched that on Sleuth Mom, where he just kind of confirms it, that he did see the scratches, because I believe Candace was trying to say that he didn't have any scratches at first. And then Justin kind of butted in and said, yes, I saw them. I can confirm that there was definitely scratches on Troy's arm.
So we've got a Troy, we've got a Jim. What's the niece's name? Is she a minor? Can we not say her name? Because I swear if it's Nicole, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, I don't think she's a minor, but I haven't heard her name yet.
Okay. I swear.
But she's got a story. She dated Dylan Berg, Ellen's son, at one point.
Okay.
So I guess,
and she knew all of them.
She knows a little bit of everything because she was the Wadsworth's niece.
And okay, so where is the best friend in all of this?
Jake, that's why I didn't put him as one of the main characters. I haven't seen much outside of him being called. We didn't even know Dylan had a best friend. We didn't know Dylan had,
Well, Dylan's best friend is going to know all the stuff that best friends know.
But now that's the other thing. Maybe Kelly or Amber might know this. Is he the best friend from childhood?
She's going back to the beginning. Kez Chick's like, this. I got to know all of this. Yes. And maybe we'll have to put together just like a very simplistic, here's a nice little timeline just to, so people don't have to go through what we've been on here almost 2 hours and people are still like, holy crap.
We finished a timeline. We did good.
And then Barb went back to find Ursa. So she found her. She's, oh my God, I found her. Look at her being so ornery. Yep. That's her. She's a stinker. And no Nicole. Okay. Anyone else fight the urge to answer Denver regarding Troy? I want to know when the dad saw him. Same. I'm not sure when he saw him. Because we're thinking he went missing on Saturday. Dad could not have seen him until Monday because the parents don't come in till Monday. That's a long time in between to say those scratches could or could not have anything to do with Dylan. But he's got scratches. Is that because of where he dumps him, or is it what kind of scratches are they? Fingernail scratches? Or are they because those are all the same direction. You know what I mean? And then if it's brush, from being out in the brush, then or out in the bush or whatever you want to call it, then it's my hand is being all weird on camera. You see that? Total distraction. Don't do that with your hand, Teresa. Stop it.
You like the shadow puppets?
Yeah, it was just weird. All of a sudden, it was this big glow. But you know what I'm saying? Because then, it would have scratches, little tiny scratches in all different directions from being outdoors.
Yep.
Okay, so she said JD is not much a summer friend. Okay, well, that seems like a pretty big deal if that's where his main life is. You know what I mean? I need the string and the corkboard. But no, because I totally need it too. This is where I appreciate a good whiteboard in my life because I'm this is, yes. And, the one thing I really like to do is family trees. And Michelle keeps talking about these brothers and all this stuff. And I keep going, this is like a family tree in the making. I'm telling you.
See, this would be a good one for you to do. You'd find some stuff on those Wadsworths for sure.
Yeah, I do. I love a good family tree.
There's a lot of them.
Did you find the footage and I didn't add it? Did we? Are we?
I sent it to you.
Oh, you shit. I'm not even paying attention. Okay, we're gonna find that real quick, or we're gonna go through that, and then let me pull it up.
You want me to take off the affidavit?
Oh yeah, I can remove that. Oh yeah, you can remove that. What do I want to do here? There we go. Okay.
Thank you, Tia. I was a full mess. Both of those stories.
I do. I want like an app or something that literally like creates, like you just put the information in and it like creates the timeline and like the family tree. Like that's what I want. And I'm like, if there isn't one out there, like then somebody who's like all tech savvy, which is not me, needs to create that.
We need a real good true crimer to come up with that app because they
Right?
know how we, they know what we need.
Crafton, where are you? You're a good techie.
Yeah.
You need to come up with that. I think that would, with people like us, like in our world, I think that would be huge.
Like boom, boom, boom.
Okay, I'm pulling it up. Sorry. All right. So is there any other major events, major things that we need to talk about, look at, know of? Did you already send this to me?
I sent it in the one and then I sent it back to you.
Dumb treatment. Okay, thank you. So is there two different ones that I'm looking at? You're
going to see a 3-minute one and then there's a 9-minute one.
Okay.
Pick whatever one your little heart wants to.
Okay. I'm gonna turn this off because it's getting like real weird with the way the light is. So I muted myself. I quit. I swear. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I know somebody needs to like where the heck did Crafton and Kim go? Because he needs to get on that.
Trying to get us to share a screen together is one screen, 2 people, and yep.
Dude, and it's ridiculous. And we were even like working on it before the live. So it's like
we were so prepared.
We are not the ones. Okay, this case is super twisty and confusing and too many men with criminal records and same first and last names. Yep. Okay, so I have that one, and then I have okay. Hold, please. This one's like 9 minutes long. Is that the first one?
I believe so. The second one should only be about 2 minutes and something.
Okay, so I want the 9-minute one first.
If you want to play it that long. Or you could kind of skip through it if you want.
Well, which one's better?
I do the 9-minute one then.
Okay.
You'll really get the lay of the land. So maybe, I don't know if you can do it on your end, but maybe try and skip through some of it.
I'm sure I think I can.
This is Chris's video, but he really did like a lot of he was everywhere. So we're probably going to see a lot of everything.
Does it have sound?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. The video has no sound. Okay, is that like full screen?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you see the whole thing or no?
Yep.
Okay, because I can't see anything now because it's on my full screen.
The blind leading the blind.
Okay, so you're gonna have to, if something comes up, you're gonna have to tell us what we're looking at.
Ugh.
I got a lot of sources to have to put in here tonight.
Yeah.
People have done a great job. I mean, look at this.
They really have. And it's good to see a lot of the bigger channels and smaller channels working together just to get Dylan out there. Like,
I love it.
Me too.
I love that.
Like, I encourage that. So please, pick this up, get his face out there, get his story out there. Share it.
Do you know where we're at right now? Like, how far away are we? Where are we headed? Do you know any of that?
No.
Okay.
Not at this point.
Okay.
Maybe
we're just taking a stroll.
Yeah.
Got it. It's crazy to think that this is drone footage is how they found that spot in the dirt where they found Shanann.
And I know today they posted a lot of pictures of just random things that they had found, like I believe
that they'll go back out and start looking at.
Uh-huh. And then Chris, I believe, is getting this footage something to where you can like really, really see every little thing and get closer to the ground. It is a scary feeling, right? It's imagine. Apparently, this group did a lot of its policing around like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And just imagine squatting out there. Where do you go? Like, of course you're going to hide behind someone's camper. There's maybe 5 of them.
This is just, there's so much
There's just
emptiness.
so much. And it is. It's a whole lot of this, but it's.
But I think it puts a great perspective on that this is going to.
And even Chris said that, you know, they had two decent sized search groups for the first 2 weeks, and that still wouldn't be enough. Even whatever the FBI and police have brought in, they said
No, this is huge.
And not counting, they checked some mines, but they didn't check all of them. So they're kind of pushing he could be in one of those too, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to make me nauseous. He needs to stop doing that.
And then he does that a couple times. It's like he circles X amount of.
He probably sees something that he's like, all right, let me get a whole scan of this area. Stop.
And there's at least 5 more of these. Like, I mean, I only grabbed you the last 2, but
this is the one that shows his trailer, right?
I believe so. Towards the end, this pretty much shows everything, and then the other videos I believe are breaking it down a little bit better. But I wasn't able to watch them all the way.
Wonder if I can.
As I was trying to go with the 3-minute one because I'm like, I don't know how long that 9-minute will go.
Ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as cool as that scenery is, okay, let's not skip too far ahead. Let's see what he sees here. So is this the guy that went out with LE or with law enforcement, or is this another guy? Because I know that law enforcement said they were having their drone guys come out there.
No, this was the first 2 weeks this footage was taken. And
this is that channel that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That I couldn't remember the name of. Yes.
Oh, Chris, from it used to be Monsters Under the Bed. Now it's Mob Crew.
Okay. Does somebody have a link? Can one of the mods drop a link to that channel for everybody?
I told them we'll make sure everything's in the description too.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. But could you imagine? It's so dry. Being a farmer out there must be. I can't imagine.
All right, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Okay. Does he play these on his channel and like tell people like what he's looking at?
Oh yeah, he does. He's
okay. We definitely need that. Yeah, we should share that so people can go and see that because I think that would be really cool. Like why he's stopping, or you know, what he sees, what he thinks he sees, where he's at in relation to things. I think that'd be important.
What I would do is too. I mean, we'll drop it for you guys, but maybe give him a few days and go back because he'll have all of this cleaned up, so you can really see like what he was able to get and clean it up. What is that?
Is that still like snow on the ground? That's not snow, right? Okay, I think he's basically finished up with this one. So let me get out of this one. And then this one's shorter, so let me see. Oh, it's salt. Okay, thank you. Thank you. No dust. So that's what I was like, what is that gonna be snow, right? Well, I don't know, man. Like got all these places that it's sunny all night, so who knows? So I was like, wait a minute. Is this what it looked like? It looks like snow. I'm a Southern California girl. Back up off. Okay, let's see. Let's find the other one.
Hey, small town girl.
I think that's this one. You know that we have snow in Southern California, and it's all desert. California is desert. Goofy. Okay,
Small town girl says it's like salty, dry mud.
Hey, small town girl, where is she? There she is. It's like salty, dry mud. Okay, hold on. What am I doing? Share again.
That's. I agree, Sharon.
What did I do with it?
He does really good, and I love like the first 10-15 minutes of the show. He just runs over all the missing person cases and things, and a lot of times it's the faces that don't get the attention. So I like that he does that too. It's a real cool part of his show.
Okay, let's add this one. Go back over here. Play it and make it big. So is this different?
Yeah, but a lot of it looks the same just because the land looks.
That's how you feel when you're driving through it. You're like, oh my God, I'm never getting out of here.
Yep. And then you see these random campers and things, it's just crazy.
Well, I know the one that I watched, he goes like straight to the trailer.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Is that not either of these?
Newest videos, I think.
Okay, because that's the one I've seen.
I don't know if that was in the Facebook group. I took this out of the well, I asked them first, but then I took it out of the Facebook group.
You're like, hey, I'm taking this.
Like, hey, Chris, sorry. Like, could you imagine being hunted? Like, you're squatting, it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and these group of guys come around in their trucks and their shotguns, and you're not supposed to be here, and where do you run? Where do you go?
But I guess that's the thing, though, because the last data they released about his phone is from like 3:41 in the afternoon. There's nothing released after that. So is there actually no activity after that? And it's the hunting humans thing doesn't really make sense then, because it's not even dark. Now we hunt humans during the day. I don't know, because I don't hunt humans. So that's all kind of crazy.
And was this group hunting people that were, thieving from their land, so to speak, or were they just doing some really messed up things to people? And that's kind of just the story that they're giving.
So that's kind of the main theories then. So let's talk about that. So the main theories are that there's the whole dress up from the other guy, and that guy happens to be the one that calls and says that he knows where he is, which I think is really flippin' weird. Let me just say that. That's very sus in my book. Why he's even making that call, but whatever. And then you have, oh geez. Okay. I think we're done with that one. That wasn't the right one. Okay. That's fine. Let me out of here. I'm like stuck in the drone stuff. Small town girl, it's a couple hours from where you live. Wear tan camo like troops wear. So, okay, so major theories. Major theory is you got the whole Wadsworth Kurt situation, right? Then you've got some new random one with hunting humans, which I'm going to go with. I don't believe that unless we really are living in Hunger Games, but it is what it is. I've seen it on Criminal Minds. And then, hi, Shmida. I love you. Did you hear the dog toy? Well, I mean, California, Barb, is technically all desert, and it does snow in California, but it's desert. And we got Big Bear. It's covered in snow. It's one of the biggest skiing places there is. Do I get snow? No, we've gotten a lot of hail, but I've never actually had snow yet. Okay, totally off topic, and I do that. See, I have to stay away from that chat. Okay, so we've got those two theories. We've got random crazy who happens to be out in the world and is going and taking people's shoes off and taking them.
We have Chase, the bloody shoeless guy needing a ride from Dylan.
Okay, well, I still have an issue with him.
Mm-hmm. He's still
because if he left on the 25th and he's spotted on surveillance on 200 miles away from Lucin on the 28th, which is the day everybody thinks he went missing, the chances of it being Chase are pretty small, unless Chase is there to, and then he gets a ride from Dylan to go to the place where he's ultimately going to kidnap Dylan and take him to. Why wouldn't you just kidnap him on the 25th? Why'd you let him go all the way home? You know what I mean? Like that one doesn't, Chase is kind of off to me unless there's something about that timeline that I'm not aware of. So I have an issue with the Chase one.
I don't.
And then
I feel
you got James, who we think is different than Jim, but James is 5'1", which would fit the whole thing of the short seat.
the short seat.
Well, the short seat, you know what I'm talking about. So you got there's a few different things that are kind of happening here.
Then you got the alpaca farmer and what he thinks.
Okay, go back to him. What does he think?
When he had rode out there at one point, or maybe even has land out there. I can't remember, but it was late at night and he was out in that area and whatnot, and he almost got human hunted. So he kind of like
that goes to your human hunter thing. That goes to the second theory we talked about.
Yeah.
He's the human hunter guy.
Yeah.
Saying that he almost got human hunted. Like, don't go out at night.
Right. But he said, you know, there are a lot of tweakers that squat out there. So like a lot of the things do come back full circle. Like, you know, you listen to that arrest affidavit, you're like, squatting, okay, no shoes, okay. Like you all these things, but I don't know. It's just all crazy. I can't even put it together.
It's such an interesting case. And I hate to say that, but it really is. There's just so many facets to the fact that there's nothing out there, and yet there's so many possibilities of what happened to this kid. This 19-year-old kid who just thinks, I'm going to go be a farmer. I'm going to make it work. This is my life's passion. And gone. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the normalcy, truth, and transparency. There's only so much of that stuff I can fit into my day without going flipping crazy. Or I should say my week, my month, any of it. Yeah, I like this much, much better. So there's so many possibilities. What in the world? And then is there the chance that this dude just bounced and was like, F everybody, I'm out? No? Okay, so he's not a bouncer. Tweakers or druggies, Barb, yes.
Yeah, there you go, Barb.
Michelle, you really have done a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
You really have done a fantastic job, as always.
I hope I made some sense. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Made some sense? Yes, you make tons of sense. And when I don't understand, I just ask questions. Yeah, are we getting 5-1 from the arrest record from the jail? Because I'm seeing that them get it wrong and forgot a second one. Yes, that is where I'm getting it from, is from the arrest. From his, I can't even think right now. Wait, so then go ahead.
I think somebody did mention that earlier in chat too, but we were going.
Oh, sorry. If somebody mentioned it in chat earlier and I missed it, I apologize. There was part of it where I couldn't even see chat on my thing.
Oh, you know what? That 5-1 did sound a little weird. I mean, I know guys can be.
Well, I know other people, men, that are 5'1". So it's not. I mean,
no, it's
not necessarily unheard of.
Not totally uncommon.
Wouldn't. Yeah, if they wanted money, why'd they leave the truck? Night, Jeanette. We love you too.
We love you.
Yeah, I don't think he just put. That's what I was asking. Like, is that even like something that we can consider at this point?
Yeah, she be taller
I mean,
than
I
you.
think almost everybody's taller than you except for sleuths. But I think she might even be taller than you, which is. Shmita is tiny and mighty, man, though. Okay. All right. So I think that we've kind of covered everything that we can cover.
Yeah.
We'll try to create like a short little timeline that will just put this together in smaller pieces, and try to get that out this weekend, and then keep you guys updated.
Yeah. I feel like I agree with Amber. I think there's going to be a lot of the next couple weeks are going to say a lot. I think this is just the beginning of the serving of the warrants and warning of neighbors and getting.
Well, yeah, I agree.
I just pray to God he's found.
I got a whisper. Somebody's whispering in my ear. Sorry. Yes. I didn't drive the car up there. Okay. He's like his mother. He's not a good whisperer. I can't whisper to save my life. Try to whisper. You want me to try to whisper? It sounds like I'm talking because I'm so loud. It just sounds like I'm talking normal. People laugh at me all the time.
When Teresa calls me, she calls me with this laugh, and it's like,
yeah, the 4-wheel drive didn't work, so I guess maybe that's why not taking. Maybe that's what they were trying, and that's why it was in 4-wheel drive. LFT. That's a great point too.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. I thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out on your Friday night. I know that there's hundreds of places that you could be, and the fact that you were here and hanging out with us is beyond appreciated. It's the best you can do is just watch the videos, give them a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys more than words could ever say.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you.